Hey, my name's Josh Smith, and I want to take just a minute to tell you about the story behind the song on my new album, God Will See Me Through. In 2016, my family found themselves in a valley that we didn't ask for, nor would we want to go through again. My wife had been battling a severe depression and along with a kind of flurry of medical problems, had wound up in the hospital that summer for a total of 81 days. Including in that were a couple of surgeries and of course multiple visits back and forth to the doctor. And when you have children you're trying to raise, and we have 3 of our own, it can become hard. Not only was I trying to be dad, but also mom, and I know I'm a preacher as well, but can I be honest with you, there were days in there that I didn't get up every morning singing Victory in Jesus, and I didn't get up on the mountaintop. There were some sleepless nights, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, asking God, where are you? There were some times where I felt like quitting, and even though God had been so good, and I loved my church family, and I loved the ministry that God had called me to, there were just times I was brokenhearted. I remember one particular day, at this time my wife was in a hospital about an hour from our house, and they had 2 visitations that I could go in to see my wife, Amy. One would be in the afternoon, and then there would be a couple-hour break, and then another one later in the evening. And since we live about an hour or so from the hospital, it really didn't make a lot of sense to drive back and forth in that short span. And I remember that day, to be honest, it was one of those valley days, questioning God, where are you? Wondering how we were going to get through it, if we were going to get through it, and still trying to, on the outside, have a pretty strong facade for everybody to see. And that afternoon, after the first visitation was over with, I began to think about what am I going to do, and went down to the little chapel there in the hospital. And in the chapel, as I walked in, of course, I was the only person there, and there was a piano. And that morning, as I got ready, God had begun to put a little song in my heart, just the chorus of God Will See Me Through. And as I sat down at the piano, there just beginning to play and think about that thought, knowing how heavy I was and even questioning where God was at, all of a sudden it was as though the Holy Spirit came in that little chapel and gave me the words to the song, God Will See Me Through. And I love the chorus now of that song where it says, though I may not see the sun, I'm still trusting in the one whose words are true. So I'll lift my hands towards heaven and I'll say, I know God will see me through. And can I tell you, after going through that valley, though again, I surely wouldn't ask to go through it again, wouldn't want to. But I can tell you this, even when I couldn't see Him, He knew exactly where I was, and He brought my family and myself through it. And no matter what you're going through today, stay faithful to the Lord, and there's going to come a day when you can look back and see how God brought you through it. I hope this song will be a blessing to you. I know God will see me through.
Oh, I may not see the sun, I'm still trusting in the one whose words are true. So I'll lift my hands toward heaven and I'll say, I know God will see me through.